Storm clouds hovered over the salt flat sun of Salt Lake as the valet pulled the black SUV to the curb at the Luncheon at the Lake Gala. The lake's surface glinted like a liquid mirror, but inside, tensions were about to crack the surface. Angie Katsanevas had arrived early, her elegant heels clicking on the marble floor of the lakeside pavilion. Her hair, the precise coiffure she cultivated, sat plainly, almost businesslike, rather than glamorous show-off. She had the center snowflake status now, and she wore it like a mantle: attention, alliances, ambition. She had built her salon empire, managed image, scale, and brand with careful curation. She'd played the underdog, and she'd risen. On the other side of the room, Lisa Barlow surveyed the scene. Crisp white blazer, strategic smile, the aura of a woman who'd already thought 5 moves ahead. She had tequila lines, business partnerships, a social media presence, a network of followers and friends, and quietly, a sense of threat. Angie's growth, her rising dominance, the whispers in the salons. They had danced around each other for months, in cocktail party glances and overheard comments and subtle jabs at brunch. But tonight promised collision. The host's voice echoed through the speakers, inviting everyone to the long table set under white drapes and hanging lights. The tables curved toward the lake, the far edge transparent so the Great Salt Lake seemed to be part of the party. Angie sat near the center, along a line of women who leaned in toward her, giggling at her jokes, admiring her poise. Lisa sat across the table, at the head, as though she'd commanded the room. Anger, envy, ambition, the air crackled. The appetizer arrived: seasonal salad with citrus vinaigrette. Wine glasses chilled, small talk fluttered. Then, the blow. Lisa, smiling politely, raised her glass. "Here's to business, to bold moves," she said lightly, then locked eyes with Angie. "And to knowing exactly what you own, because some count 1.5 salons and call it something big." Murmurs. Angie stiffened. She met Lisa's gaze. Then she replied, softly at first. "Actually, I own 3 salons outright. The rest are franchises. I'm proud of each one." Lisa tilted her head. "That's ambitious. But you've said so many things about loyalty, authenticity. Kind of funny when the facts don't match the narrative." At that, Angie's temper flared. She had rehearsed a phrase in her head, sharpened it like an arrow. She leaned in, voice cool but charged. "You do French fries, I do franchise." The table froze. The insult hung in the air like a thrown glove. People gasped, looked away, checked phones. Lisa's cheeks flickered. In the silence, Angie added, "Stick to what you know." It was a crushing moment. Lisa's eyes narrowed, the atmosphere electric. After the luncheon's end, the cast dispersed to the terrace, drinks in hand, the lake shimmering. Somewhere along the lines, Mary Cosby, Alexis, Bronwyn whispered amongst themselves. Angie found a quiet alcove, watching the horizon, her mind racing. She reflected on the words she'd just used. Raw, powerful, perhaps too sharp. She felt adrenaline, triumph, then a click of doubt. She wondered, was this worth it? The fight, the spectacle, the network of alliances shifting like cards in a wind. She flashed back to the journey, the woman who showed up last season, slightly insecure, building her brand, forging alliances. She had accepted the underdog label and turned it into fuel. And Lisa? She had been in place, confident, established, but now challenged. She remembered the rumors, whispered backstage, in hair salons, in hushed text groups, that Lisa had felt threatened. That the tequila deal, the social movements, the partnerships had all rattled Lisa's inner circle. She remembered the Soup Man reference that exploded online. Lisa had thrown that grenade. "What about Soup Man, bitch?" She sneered during an earlier confrontation. Angie had tried to laugh it off, but the fire sat under her skin. Reality tea. Now Angie thought of that phrase, and of wasted time, because yes, she had spent a whole year dancing around this tension, weighing whether to engage, how to respond, what the consequences would be. She had watched Lisa's social media posts, the framed, dismissed legal documents display, the luncheon signage. She had weighed the cost, reputation, friendships, alliances. And what result? A public spat, a biting one-liner, and a moment of victory, but also a moment of damage. She thought, was it worth it? As she lingered on the terrace, the wind off the lake cooling her skin, she tracked her thoughts. If the fight had been about business truth, ownership, authenticity, fine. If it had been about proving her worth beneath the spotlight, fine. But if it was about never being overshadowed, about undermining another woman in the same game, then maybe she'd missed her mark. Suddenly, Lisa appeared on the terrace, far side of the group, but unmistakably headed her way. Angie straightened her back. The walk felt long and spotlighted. Others paused. The tension crescendoed. Lisa stopped a few feet away. Her smile was now something else, steady, measured. "Congratulations on your salons," she said quietly. "I didn't know you had 3. Angie's heart skipped. Did Lisa believe her? Did she accept the statement? Or was this further tactic? "I do," Angie replied simply. "Thank you." Lisa nodded. "So, can we move on? Because this fight, I don't want wasted time. I don't want drama for drama's sake. I respect what you're doing." Angie blinked. The words? Unexpected. The invitation? To cease the war? To evolve? She exhaled. She realized. She had spent so much time reacting, defending, strategizing, watching the chessboard. Maybe it was wasted time. If she truly wanted to lead, to own her story, to command her place, she didn't need to spend years constructing conflict. She needed clarity, alignment, peace. She answered, "Thank you, Lisa. I'd like that." The air changed. Others noticed. Some exhaled. An alliance, or at least a truce, was possible. Over the next days, Angie sat in her salon office, looking at spreadsheets, partner emails, brand strategy. She allowed herself to pause and reflect. She thought about the phrase she said, "You do French fries, I do franchise." It had landed, but had she meant it bravely or defensively? Did she want to wield power by cutting someone else down or by building up? She thought of the one commonality between her and Lisa. Both had big ambitions. Both held influence. Both operated in a world where image and real business collided. Why were they at odds? Because they had allowed the story of me versus you to dominate, instead of us versus this field. She resolved. She would reply, not with jabs, but with excellence. She would let her salons shine, let her teams flourish. She would build more than she argued. Because when one invests so much time in conflict, it drains energy from creation. She considered that as wasted time. On the day of the cast trip reveal, destination Greece, Angie walked into the meeting, head high, but with a grounded smile. Lisa was there, across the room. They made eye contact. The moment was quiet, but rooted. Angie nodded. Lisa nodded back. Later, the group gathered for a toast. Angie held her glass high. "To growth," she began, "and to the time we spend wisely, because life's too short for wasted time." Lisa raised her glass too. "Hear, hear," she said, "and to strong women building things." Angie lifted her gaze to the stars, the Greek sky overhead, the salt flat memories behind, the future unwritten. She thought the fight was real. The cost had been dear. But maybe the lesson was greater. That power is not just in the victory. It's in recognizing when to stop fighting, when to align, when to escalate, and when to evolve.